The internet is talking about Sean Tucker again, and we got to deep dive his situation. There has been some changes. We're going to deep dive the advanced analytics, his situation with the team, Rachaad White, to see if there's some opportunity for him for your fantasy football league. Should you start him, bench him, stay away? It's all going to be right here. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing these deep dives every day on as many players as possible. When a player gets a little buzz or some news or becomes the starter or people got questions, we're here covering the advanced analytics, their situation, so you know what to do. Maybe you don't want to pick the guy up. Maybe you do, but we're going to help you out with that decision. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out because there'll be more videos like this. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. But Sean Tucker's in the news again, and Rachaad White has been sucking, and that is why. Rachaad White get it done between the tackles. He's inefficient, and Sean Tucker outrushed him 2 games in a row. And Sean Tucker has some upside in this offense. He showed that last year. But when you look at Sean Tucker here, you're looking at a running back in a situation where maybe not you need him for your fantasy football team. Bucky Irving's out. He is limited at practice as of today. He is doubtful. He is going to be back somewhere down the line. He's coming back from an injury that put him out weeks. We do not know what he's going to look like when he comes back as well. That is a huge question. I can't say yes or no how that looks like. Only Bucky really knows, and he may not even know himself until he's out there on the field. But Bucky's good. Bucky's good. Can't really say anything bad about him. He is the #1 trending player on Sleeper right now. It's Sean Tucker. A lot of people are talking about him on Twitter right now. A lot of people got a lot of questions. A lot of people are wondering about him. That's why he's getting searched up a lot. And that's why we do these videos, to help you guys out so you know what to do with these players. You get to advanced analytics. You know how to move on with this player, whether you want to pick him up or not. Sean Tucker, though, led the team in rushing yards the last 2 weeks, carving out more of a role. He's a good running back prospect. The snap share has increased. Not high enough, though, with Bucky Irving lurking, watching from afar, waiting for his next move. But Sean Tucker, though, is in these matchups here coming up, and the Bucs are always in these matchups where it's juicy. There's extra firepower to it. They're fun to watch. And you're looking at Rachaad White. Just look at the yards per carry. You don't have to get into advanced analytics. After week 2, 2.4, 2.83, 2.93, 3.82, 3.8, 2.69, 3.8. He just sucks between the tackles. You're looking at his advanced analytics and what he's doing on the field. True yards per carry, 43rd among running backs. Yards per touch, 47th. Juke rate, 51st. Evaded tackles with 14, 42nd among running backs. That's with 87 carries. 44th among running backs, an explosive rating. Breakout runs, just 1 on the season, 53rd. Just 1. 1 carry at 15 yards or more on the season. You're looking at yards created, 28th, 29th in yards created per touch. That's per touch because of what he does in the passing game. What he does in the passing game, vastly different of what he is in the run game. He's explosive in space. You check it down to him in the flat. Yeah, that's where he makes his money. That's where he's valuable on this team. Not between the tackles, though. Not between the tackles. So you took that away. 40s, 50s, 60s, and yards created per touch or yards created per carry. That probably needs to be a metric on here. Yards created per carry. Because now we're in the situation here where Rachaad White is just sucking in all the advanced metrics. His receiving game is booing his value to the team. But really, when you break down these numbers, the yards per touch is watered down due to that because he sucks in the run game. You're looking at Sean Tucker. You can't say it's much better. You can also say he's only had 32 carries. But when the guy who's getting the bulk of the carries is sucking so bad, the next man up gets the look. He gets the opportunity, and he's going to get the touches. And touches matter in fantasy football for running backs because they can Trey Sermon themselves into fantasy production. The Trey Sermon effect is when a sucky running back gets the starting job, and they get so many touches in games where they accidentally hit for you once every 2.5, 3 to 4 games for you in fantasy, hitting the fairway, if not more, scoring touchdowns, maybe a run breaks free, but football happens. Football's going to football, and that player actually, through volume, gets it for you in fantasy, but it's not consistent because they suck. At minimum, if Sean Tucker sees more opportunities, that could potentially happen through the run game. You're seeing what he did at Syracuse. This guy was a monster. This guy was projected to be drafted at least on day 2, and he was a monster in 2021. 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, just breaking off big games. He was dominant. The next year, he was used a little bit more in the pass game, ran a lot more routes. His targets were deeper downfield and still broke 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. The offense was different in that season, but still productive. But you're wondering what happened because he was so productive. Over 200 yards in multiple games, over 150 yards in multiple games, just taking over the ACC, run over Florida State, Notre Dame, Clemson, just really getting it done. On Saturdays, you're on Twitter scrolling, you're looking for the highlights to keep up with college football. It's hard not to see Sean Tucker during that era, and he was dominant. He was up there with the top running backs in college football, and you see him go and draft, and you're like, what the hell happened? What the hell happened to this dude? He posts good athletic numbers, size is fine, production's fine, everything's good. Everything looks good. You'll watch the tape at Syracuse. You really got to nitpick to find issues. Falls out of draft due to a heart condition. On top of that, not clear to practice until July. Now, if you watch training camp or if you follow the channel and watch training camp with me, you know late round picks, let alone undrafted free agents, they barely get opportunities in training camp. Barely any looks in 11 versus 11s. Like, they get the scraps at the end of practice. Now, think about the scraps he was getting in July. No rookie camp, no OTAs, no mini camp, not all of training camp, getting acclimated. Like, there was nothing there. His 2023 season washed out just late. He's an undrafted free agent. They don't know much about him. They already got Rachaad White on the roster. 2023 was his big season. That's when he blew up. That's when everybody knew Rachaad White's name. He was a rookie the year prior, had a few pop-off moments, but blows up in 2023. So nobody's really looking at Sean Tucker anymore. They got Rachaad White. Why do they need Sean Tucker? Sean Tucker just falling out of draft, colossal bust. Why do we need to think about this guy anymore? Big fantasy saying, big NFL draft is saying, it's the Rachaad White show. He's the next Christian McCaffrey. He's the next David Johnson. He's the next big thing. Not so fast, my friend, says Lee Corso. Bucky Irving comes on in 2024 draft class. Looks solid between the tackles. Rachaad White, that year, really looks like a mess between the tackles. 2023, efficiency metrics, not looking so good between the tackles. Bucky Irving, Rachaad White together. Good combo. But Bucky Irving takes his lunch. Bucky Irving, more dependable, play to play. Bucky Irving, that dude in the offense. Bucky Irving, the offensive line, blocking well. This year, they're banged up going into the season. They had a coaching change. Everything was coming into effect. Bucky Irving, good running back that fell to him in the 4th round. That really shouldn't have. But at the combine, he didn't really run the spec. He didn't run the tape. He was slower. However, when you checked out the tape at Oregon, man, check out that. Dude run routes out of slot. Dude shifty. He's slippery when wet. He's got that speed. He's pulling away. Just not all the time those combine metrics are true to form. Now, they'll show you the odds and hit rates, but it's not always true to form. You're looking at the Bucs running backs right now. And Rachaad White, 3.7 yards per carry. You see Bucky there, 3.3. Lower than usual, but they started off the season banged up. You're looking at Sean Tucker. He's hanging in healthy 4 with 32 rushing attempts, 129 rushing yards. Rachaad White has played in 9 games, 325 rushing yards in 9 games. Explain that. Explain why he's still getting a bulk of the workload here. Explain that to me, why Rachaad White is still getting a bulk of the workload here when you got Sean Tucker getting a little bit more. Rachaad White has always been inefficient in the run game. He has always been off. And you're looking at yards after contact here, 2.44 for Sean Tucker, 2.77 for Rachaad White. Like I said, limited sample, and I said Sean Tucker is not perfect. He's not perfect. He hasn't been. But when the cold hand's there, you're looking for another hand to see if it can get hot. And that's Sean Tucker. He's that other hand. You're looking to see if that can fire. Now, he has 4 carries of 10-plus yards. Rachaad White has just 6. 87 rushing attempts versus 32. When you look at that, Sean Tucker is nasty in space, and he can create space to get those 10-plus yards, those big gains. He has that potential to him. He showed that at Syracuse. He was a bigger draft prospect than Rachaad White. He had more upside out college than Rachaad White. That's a long time ago. That's years and decades and football years. But still, when you're thinking about that and talent, Sean Tucker competes with these backs. Like, he's not a regular UDFA. Like, he's coming into his own. For a UDFA to stick behind 2 running backs like this and stay on a roster and still get touches, that is rare. He would help a lot of backfields in the league. This team is 3 running backs strong right now. You're looking at the work in the passing game. Sean Tucker's not going to get that. He did have some clues at Syracuse that final year. His ADOT was above 0, pushing to like 1.5 to 2, so he can run routes downfield. He's good in space. He's slippery in the open field. But Bucky Irving, good in the passing. Bucky Irving's good at all phases. Like, he's a mix, not 1-for-1 for tape, but with how they're used in this offense of White and Tucker. White, he's nasty in the passing game. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's explosive in space once he's got everything built up. He's solid there. That's where they can use him. That's great for fantasy. Tucker, though, more efficient in the run game. He can run between the tackles well, has good pacing, good approach to the line of scrimmage. Football-wise, great. Fantasy-wise, that's what you want to know. 2 yards per carry here. Sean Tucker's beating them all, 3.95. Breakaway run rate, 6.25. Going back to the 2 yards per carry, 3.95 is not good, though. It's just not good. That's the thing about that. Yards created per rush, he's winning at 2.16. Fine, but not good. And Sean Tucker's breaking off runs right now. That's the thing. He has the potential to get you that upside. He showed that last year. He had that big run last year. He had one big game last year when Rachaad White's out. And when Rachaad White's out, that when Sean Tucker gets the opportunities. Next to Bucky Irving. That's when he gets that work. When Bucky Irving's out there, they like to have somebody with him. When Rachaad White's out there, he's also good in the passing game, and they just try and get by with the run game. When Sean Tucker's out there, dude, he can get it between the tackles. You're looking at this matchup here with the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo was banged up on the defensive side of the ball last week against the Miami Dolphins. They were on the road. Devin Achin ate them up. Sean Tucker's not Devin Achin. Rachaad White can get work in the passing game like Devin Achin, but he's not Devin Achin. The thing about this, the Bills will give up points to running backs, but it's not like they're blowing up all the time. Achin, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry. Those are different beasts, but there should be good movement in this game. This game should be crazy, and what they're saying in the rankings here is that he's a desperate touchdown gamble with the top backups, the top 1Bs. That's what you're seeing here. That's your answer. Now it's him versus that wide receiver. He's a touchdown gamble. It's him versus that wide receiver, though. I think he's one of the top touchdown gambles right now. Like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or Sean Tucker, who you taking? Who you taking, him or Tajay Spears, considering the matchup, movement in this offense? Kyle Money Guy, I'm going Kyle Money Guy. Amari Demercado's an interesting one. Him versus Sean Tucker. Tony Pollard or Sean Tucker? Tony Pollard's a little safer. Jordan Mason or Sean Tucker? Sean Tucker's got a little bit more upside. Tyler Algier or Sean Tucker? Almost stalemate here. Now him versus Calvin Austin, Jalen Naylor, Nick Chubb, TJ Hawkinson. Those are the wide receivers you're looking at. Maybe Olamide Zaccheaus. DK's in there. So that's where you're looking at the type of wide receivers. Cedric Tillman. I would take Sean Tucker over most of those. I would take Sean Tucker over most of those guys. Cedric Tillman might be interesting. Sean Tucker might be a little safer play. But most of the wide receivers you're looking at here, you're probably going that route unless you're going that deep. Him versus Kendrick Bourne, I think Sean Tucker might be a little bit safer. Kendrick Bourne more upside. Yes, there's a lot of volume that goes his way. He's shown that upside before. More of a gamble. Maybe you chase that upside more often than not. Blake Corum's got the same touchdown gamble. So you're looking at that. Christian Kirk is getting a lot of competition in his offense now. AJ Barner is a touchdown gamble in his own right. But now you see how to play him here. Just a touchdown gamble going in this week that could pop off for a little bit more with the rushing attempts as he starts stealing that workload from Rachaad White. Touchdown gamble, that's why you need him. If you don't need a touchdown gamble, if you're good at running back, if you're good at your flex, you may want to keep it open because Bucky's going to be back. However, Bucky may not be the same or get re-injured when he does come back, and you may want to have that finger on the trigger. You may want to have that. Bucky's back. That's why you don't need him. He might be back sooner than later, and that could be it. He's listed as doubtful. He's limited in practice right now. They may take their time. After all, Sean Tucker's a good back. Rachaad White is good in the passing game. They might be able to patch this up a little bit longer, and they don't feel desperate to push it. That's one thing about this. They may even push it longer than what we want. That might happen. That's something to pay attention to. And we're not sleeping on Bucky. We're not sleeping on anybody. Honestly, this was driven because of the search results. Everybody's looking up Sean Tucker. Everybody's talking about him on Twitter. Sean Tucker has the ability to go off. He has proven that. He did that last year. But I think the touchdown gamble is what we should classify him as. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.